Yes, I have a master's degree in computer science. No, I don't always check my camera to make sure I have enough battery to finish the video. Hey everybody, this is CIT 12. It is week 2, and what can I say? This is going to be another busy week. Now, before we get started with the week 2 assignments and activities, I just wanted to go over a few things from last week. Number 1, I apologize if you were in the section. I have 2 sections this summer of the same course, CIT 12. One of the sections did not get access to all the tools in the labs on Monday and Tuesday, most of Tuesday. Tuesday evening is when I fixed it. So I apologize for that. If you looked in the video showing you sort of how to set up your account and how to use my IT lab, you probably noticed that there were buttons like the learning aids and the save for later button that were missing. I apologize. This affected essentially half of my students. So yeah, we got it corrected. You should now, as was always intended in the labs, be able to save for later, so you don't have to do everything in one sitting. You should have the learning aids available. The labs are how you're meant to learn how to do these things. So they're not tests, they are activities in order for you to learn. So the learning aids need to be there. And then also, you can take it as many times as you want. That was something that was turned off. Most people probably didn't notice it, but just like the quizzes, you can take the labs as many times as you want until you get the grade that you want, or it disappears, whichever comes first. All right, now a question that I've been getting from a lot of students is, hey, I'm having problem on this and such a question or whatever, and I can't quite get it right, and I seem to be doing exactly what it's telling me, and it's just not working. Just so you know, we've worked through almost all of the questions, and they all work, but, and there's a big but here, they all work on my computer. So if this were a face-to-face class and you were in my lab, I could pretty much guarantee that most of these questions would work. I think we've gotten rid of all the ones that didn't work when the stuff was new. That being said, when you're working at home, you have a completely different environment. And sometimes it's really hard to get, to just troubleshoot what the problem is, especially over email. And so in online classes, it's just, it's a bit of a problem. I'm gonna give you a couple pieces of advice, and then I'm gonna tell you what I do on my side. So the first thing is, if you're using a browser, choose either the Chrome browser from Google or choose the Firefox browser from Mozilla. Both of those browsers tend to work very well with my IT lab. In fact, Chrome is actually the browser that is recommended by Pearson for use with my IT lab. Internet Explorer may work for you, but it has some issues. We've just noticed little bugs that pop up where you try something in Internet Explorer, doesn't work, you go immediately into Firefox or into Chrome, and it works perfectly. Don't know why that is. It's a really complex problem, and like I said, very hard to troubleshoot, but there it is. Now, even if you're using one of those browsers, you may have an add-on that you've put in, a Yahoo toolbar, or the worst offenders are those ad blockers. I know that you love them, but geez, they cause so many problems. You don't necessarily have to get rid of your ad blocker, just pay attention to it, right? Point being, as you're going through, you may find some sort of incompatibility. Now, it may just be that you're doing the question wrong, so it's kind of hard to know which it is. From my side, because these problems are so hard to troubleshoot, every single lab, I give you one question. So when I move your scores from my IT lab into Blackboard, which Blackboard is your official grade location, I'm just gonna add one question freebie up to the maximum. Obviously, if you got a perfect score, you're not going to get above a perfect score, but you get one question free. It's kind of like Spider-Man. Everybody gets one. That's an old reference. People don't even remember Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Anyway, all I'm saying is you get one question free. So if you're down to just like one question and it's not quite working, don't stay up all night trying to get it to work. Just skip it. It's one question and you're going to get the freebie. So anyway, if you're having problems with a particular question, that may be the way to go. All right, now this week we're covering 2 chapters, Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Chapter 2 is all about I/O hardware, input-output hardware. When you think about it, when it comes to computing, that's actually where all the action is. What's actually happening inside the computer, it's getting a little faster, it's getting a little better, but nobody cares about that. What people care about is the fact that I can talk to my watch and say, play The Weeknd, and all of a sudden I Can't Feel My Face is playing on the home stereo, right? The way we interact with our machines is changing rapidly. The way we experience the computer, VR is a huge topic this year, or at least a huge selling marketing point this year. So the way that we interact with computers is really, really changing. This chapter hopefully will be interesting. There is a lecture video and, as always, a quiz on chapter 2. Now we're also doing chapter 3. Chapter 3 is all about the internet. You'll see a lecture video there as well, explaining sort of how the internet works in general and some interesting things that have popped up. Something that I will not do is lecture you about how when you put something online, it stays there forever. For the most part, if you're under 25, you're probably using Snapchat, which tells me people who are over 25 tend to see Snapchat as a terrible thing. But it tells me that you're actually considering this, right? That you want the stuff you put online to go away eventually. Snapchat has some problems. There's some things and ways around it. I'm really glad they added the feature that you get notified if somebody takes a screenshot, although there are other ways of getting around that. It's not perfect, but it's at the very least a really good step forward to protecting yourself online and making sure that that stupid picture of you doing a keg stand in college doesn't follow you the rest of your life. So anyway, chapter 3, check it out, and lecture video and quiz as always. Now your discussion this week is on a tool called Wolfram Alpha. I just want you to check out these videos I have posted in the week 2 folder, as well as go onto Wolfram Alpha and try a couple searches of your own. In fact, the new version of Wolfram Alpha has a whole bunch of selections based on all sorts of different topics. Choose a topic you're interested in, try one of the searches, you'll love it. Now the idea of Wolfram Alpha is that it's different than Google, right? Google is a web search engine. You put keywords into Google, and Google will give you a set of web pages that include those words that it thinks are probably going to be likely to be something you want. Wolfram Alpha is different. They call it a knowledge engine. The idea is that they just put a whole bunch of data into a database, and you can say, how many pennies does it take to fill up a square mile? And it will just tell you the answer. If you just say, who won Best Supporting Actress in 1986? It will just give you the answer. It doesn't give you a bunch of web pages to go and find the answer. It just gives you an answer. Wolfram Alpha has a ton of information in it from material sciences and chemistry, pharmacology, all sorts of stuff. If you want to find answers, they are constantly adding more information to their database, and it's a different way to search. Sometimes, it's not to say that it's better than Google, right? Sometimes you're going to want to do a Google search, but there are times when you just want an answer. It might actually be better to do a Wolfram Alpha search. If I want to know, what's the current population in Syria? The best way is just Wolfram Alpha that, right? I'm just going to get an answer versus I have to, Google it, try and find a web page that's hopefully going to give me the answer. Anyway, check out Wolfram Alpha, see what it can do for you. Now I'm going to put a small disclaimer in here. Wolfram, as a company, produces Mathematica, one of the most important programs in mathematics, right? It's used to teach calculus at Fresno State. Don't know if we use it here at Fresno City College, but regardless, they're a very math-oriented company. And so if you type in like an equation into Wolfram Alpha, it will just give you the answer, right? It's not like, it's not going to, it essentially is just going to say, yeah, x is going to be either the square root of 2 or negative the square root of 2. Wolfram Alpha makes it very, very easy to cheat on your math homework, and that's a problem, all right? So do not cheat on your math homework because your computer teacher told you about Wolfram Alpha and yada, yada, yada. Now that being said, it's also a free graphing calculator. It will do everything your graphing calculator can do and more. So, if you don't want to spend $90 for a graphing calculator, you can just use Wolfram Alpha. They have a mobile app. You could turn your smartphone into a graphing calculator. That being said, don't use it to cheat on your math homework, or at the very least, don't tell them your computer teacher sent you. And finally, your lab for this week is going to not be a lab at all. It's going to be a practical exam on Word. So you've already done 3 labs on Word. You've gotten a bunch of skills. Now we're going to sort of test to see if you know those skills. Now granted, everything is still open book, open whatever. You can go back to those labs, find a skill, figure out how to do something, and then use it for the practical exam if you want. Or if you're under 30, you probably just go to YouTube and search it, right? I mean, that's like the default when you need to know how to do something. You just search on YouTube. However you choose to do it, right? You can do whatever you need to do in order to work through this practical exam. I just want to tell you kind of how it works. So the way the practical exam works is you go to My IT Lab and you're going to see a little link for the practical exam. You click on it and there's going to be a set of files you need to download. One of those files will be a set of instructions. Another file will be the file you need to actually work on. And then there'll be a bunch of other sort of ancillary files, images, things like that. As you're going through the instructions and working on that file, that Word document, it's going to have you do stuff like maybe add an image to the document. And so then you can add the image to the document because the image has been provided for you. Maybe you have to grab text from another document and add it to your document, right? That's why you have all those other files. The two main ones, though, are the instructions and the file you're actually working on. So you download all the files, you open up your file in your copy of Word, the one that's actually installed on your computer, and then you start going through the instructions and doing the work, right? And then when you're done, you upload the file back to My IT Lab for grading. I have an entire video showing you how to do it. I think I walked through just like the first instruction in the instruction set. So take a look at that video so you know how to do the practical exam, but it should be pretty straightforward. Now, I mentioned that you have to do it in your copy of Word. Some of you are going to freak out. I don't own Microsoft Office. Do I have to buy it? No, you don't. As a student at Fresno City College, you get Microsoft Office for free. There is another video in the Week 2 folder showing you how to get your copy for free. Now, I will say there is a slight problem here. We're just going to have to live with it for 1 year, which is that the publisher materials we have are for Office 2013. The version you get free is the newest version. It's the 2016 version. Well, that means that some of the default sort of like styles might have a different name, they might have different colors, etc. Don't worry about it. You will be able to do all of the work in Office 2016. In fact, Office 2016 is so similar to Office 2013, everything will be pretty much in the exact same place. If the computer scores you wrong because you used accent blue color 2 and accent blue color 2 was actually a slightly different color in the newer version, don't worry about it. I go through all the computer graded stuff and I make sure that you get graded correctly. So we'll be adding some bonus points for stuff that I thought you were judged unfairly for. That being said, it's a fairly simple process. Check out that video on how to get Microsoft Office for free. Because you should. You're a student and you paid your way in and you should get everything you got coming to you. Stupid batteries running out at the worst possible time. Now I have to finish this video taking a selfie like I was some teenager. Anyway, that's everything for this week. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, brian.baker@fresnocitycollege.edu. And as always, I will see you online, unless, of course, my laptop battery is dead.